And there we are.
Ah,
That's my new countdown toy.
jolly good.
Nice, isn't it?
Lovely.
We could launch rockets in our spare time.
Spare time, what's that?
Do a bit of an Elon Musk. Oh no, let's
Oh,
not
no.
go there.
No, I'd rather do a Richard Branson. It's all the same
Well,
to you.
indeed.
Yeah.
Well, happy Tuesday, folks.
Good morning.
Summer's finally here.
Yeah.
And
so.
we're, sporting our summery outfits. Hope everyone's doing well. And this week we have the extreme honor and pleasure to introduce a fellow Brit, a lovely lady by the name of Lauren Samuels.
That's on the end of Samuel.
I'm sorry, darling. Sorry. I mean, I'm getting mixed up with the jewelers. I'm getting me diamonds where me actresses and superstars should be. So Lauren she rose to fame in the UK on a show that was originally created by Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber. So we're going to be talking all about that. And the Mad Fool has moved to LA, has she not?
As if you didn't know better. No, it'll be fine. It'll be all right.
On the
night. Yeah, exactly.
And she is the host of a fabulous podcast that we will be featured on hopefully tomorrow, if we don't flub this up too bad, called A Brit in LA. And without further ado, here is our wonderful guest, Lady Lauren.
Here I am, Lady Lauren.
Good morning. Good day.
Lady Lauren, I'll take it.
Good, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how long have you actually been in Los Angeles?
I have been here since March, so not very long at all, like 4 months.
Yeah.
So I'm brand new to the area, I would say. I still feel like I'm on holiday. You know, like I haven't quite grasped the fact that I live here now. It's very strange. When the sun's shining, I'm still like, yeah, drink. And but the sun is, of course, shining every day. So
swimming pool. Mm-hmm. And what made you sort of why LA and not New York with your theatrical talents and background?
Well, to be perfectly honest, my husband is American and we met and got married in the UK. He was working over there and we had no intention of moving to the States originally. And then the opportunity arose for him and it really was for him a job opportunity of a lifetime. And it happened to be in LA. And I was like, this is great because I've always had that little bug inside me that's wanted to try out, the entertainment industry over in the States, whether it was New York, like you say, or LA. And so we were just like, yes, let's bloody go for it. I can't wait, Yeah. And so that was in March and here we are now. And then, as you say, I started A Brit in LA, the genius title of my podcast. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
Good.
Fabulous. And how do you, we know you through Sandro, right? It was Sandro contacted
you.
That's
right. Yeah.
To be introduced to you. Yes. How do you find your wonderful guests? I was scrolling through your episodes this morning. You got some really interesting people.
Mm.
I know. I have been so lucky with everyone that I've interviewed, and it is all down to Sandro. Sandro. He knows everybody, doesn't he? He's one of these people that just knows everyone, and he honestly is fantastic. So we put together, an invitation style thing to ask people if they'd be interested in talking to me. And so far, everyone's been really nice and said, yeah, all right, I'll chat to us. Yeah. And we've been talking to, Grammy award-winning songwriters, directors, your lovely selves, just trying to figure out how other people have made their dreams come true here in Hollywood, how they've gone from, maybe nothing to now living here and being so successful. So it's really, really interesting. And I'm learning a lot.
One of my favorite episodes, and I encourage everyone to look at the ticker across the bottom. It's a-brit-in-la.fm. One of my episodes that I'm sure you were blown away when you landed was producing James Corden, all that goes into that, right?
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that.
That was amazing. I got to interview James Longman, who is a Brit, who was brought over from the UK to basically be one of the exec producers on The Late Late Show. And it was amazing because he was so kind as to invite me to go and watch a taped performance of it. So a live, how they do it. So it was amazing to go backstage and see how it was all done. And that thing is like a well-oiled machine. They have got it down to a T. And it was incredibly interesting to hear from James about how he'd worked his way from the UK all the way to now producing like the most popular late night TV show here in the US. It was very, very interesting. And I was very lucky to interview him as well.
No, that's great. It's great content. I wonder if he's going to stay here or go back to Blighty with Corden.
Well, he said to me that he thinks he's going to stay here because he's enjoying the lifestyle over here. And obviously he brought his family over, and I think they've got one kid or maybe two now over here. So yeah, he's wanting to step into other kinds of producing, and like what better place, the mecca of sort of film and television, than to stay here in Los Angeles.
Right. And he's got a heck of a resume now.
I know. But I just say to him, I was like, now that James Corden is stepping down, I think you need a female host. I was like, when has there been a female host of a late night show? I was like, I will step in, sir.
Right. And then you could have a segment called Two Old Farts on a Couch.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. We'd cut to
old
you.
Men sat in deck chairs. Morecambe and Wise used to do a segment, Two Old Men sat in deck chairs.
Yes, we could be that. Two fat ladies sat in deck
chairs. Two fat ladies.
I refuse to call you fat ladies, but two ladies will have you fat. Maybe on the couch.
You should refuse to call us ladies as well, actually. Ladies, how very dare you?
The fat part I'll take, but don't call me a lady.
How dare you?
You said that to me when we did our interview together for A Brit in LA, which airs tomorrow, ladies, which is very exciting. And I opened the whole chat and said, ladies, it's so lovely to chat to you. And Angie, I think it was you, was like, well, I'm going to have to stop you there, but certainly not ladies.
How very dare you?
That was your first mistake.
How to confuse a Scouser, call her a lady.
I know. Brilliant.
What is it they say? How do you tell the bride at a Scouse wedding? She's the one in the white tracksuit.
Very good. Well, you've got to take the mick out yourself, haven't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I know Ange had some questions when we were talking this morning about your whole reality TV Andrew Lloyd Webber talent show experience.
Yeah, do tell us. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what an experience. Whenever I get asked about that now, it's strange because, when you're in a situation where you're so full of adrenaline and so nervous that after the event, you sort of forget what's happened.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel about 6 months of my life. It's sort of strange because it was 6 whole months that I was on, a live television show, and there was cameras following us every day. And we'd have one day off a week, but every day, 6 days a week, we were followed by cameras. And I beg anyone to be completely themselves when there is a camera around you. It's very difficult to completely be yourself. So, and being on live television as well, there's a very stressful aspect to everyone's where you've got to be, and there's a countdown being like, okay, we're on in 3, 2, and it's all very quick, and you're having to do costume changes in the ad breaks and things like that. So all I can recall from that time is just being incredibly stressed and nervous and full of adrenaline for about 6 months.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I've got a spot, what do I do?
Oh my God, and I didn't I break out? Because not only was it was 10 years ago now, so I was 22, yeah. So was it 10 years or maybe 11 years? God, yeah. So not only was I breaking out all the time because I was stressed, I couldn't eat, so I was losing weight. We were living in a Dorothy house as well. So we weren't even allowed to be at home. We referred to it as the Dorothy Mansion. It was like this huge 12-bedroom house in Chiswick. Yeah. And we were living all there together with a chaperone. We were picked up from there every day in the morning and dropped back there late at night every day. And so, yeah, it was a very sort of crazy whirlwind kind of environment at the time. Yes,
it must have been.
It's a real surreal existence, isn't it? Like suspended reality kind of.
Yeah. Very, very surreal. Yeah, it really was surreal. And because we were so in the bubble of the TV show, we didn't really know how popular it was or the impact the show was having on other people. But of course, we were going live on BBC One every Friday and Saturday night, or was it Friday or Saturday and Sunday night at prime time? So it was a very big show, and we were getting 12 million views at the time, which is incredible for a TV show, yeah. And so I actually had no idea that I was sort of famous at this point. And on my days off, I would go to, you know, Nando's with my boyfriend at the time and be stopped all the time. And I was like, oh God, this is really weird. I was like, actually, I don't think I can go to a shopping mall anymore. Like, and some of us Dorothys would maybe try and go shopping together, and we soon realized we can't do that anymore because people were, you know, recognizing us.
Wow.
So that was my 5 minutes of fame.
Good God. That, I mean, how on earth do you, if you're living in a sort of a how, you know, an enclosed situation like the Big Brother people, how do you like go to the dentist or pay your bills or like do domestic stuff?
You don't. I mean, I imagine if you needed, luckily, none of us needed anything emergency like that, but I imagine that the BBC would have organised that for us had we have needed it. But I decided to give up the flat where I was living prior because I knew I was going to be going into the Dorothy house. I didn't know how long it would last, of course, because we got eliminated each week. But I thought I don't really want to be paying for my rent when I'm not there. And I was young at the time and it was right at the start of my career. So I was like, I just can't afford it. So I was living with friends and I said, you know what, I'm going to try and find somewhere to live after the show's finished. So that was my home. That was where I lived. And on my day off, I stayed with my boyfriend at the time. And yeah, it was just my whole life. My whole life was taken up.
So did you only get like one day a week to do laundry, or did they take care of all that stuff for you? Or
God, you know what? I don't even remember. All of our clothes were obviously picked for us. Everything that we wore, we had no choice on anything. Really? So no choice on hair, makeup, clothes, shoes, the songs we were singing, anything.
Really?
Yeah, the food we were eating, like everything was dictated for us. So it was a very strange environment.
Yeah, it must have been.
And I remember actually just on my day off, all I wanted to do was sleep.
Yes,
so I would go and see my boyfriend and literally just go, I'm just going to sleep for like 8 hours and then maybe we can have dinner and then I'll go back to the BBC. Like it was just a very, very strange time.
God, honestly, it sounds like boarding school.
Yeah, it was a bit.
Yeah.
It was very strict as well. We weren't allowed to, you know, go places. They would pick us up and everything. But we were so focused at the time, of course, you know, 12 girls all living together and all fighting for the same parts.
Yeah.
You know, we were so focused on the job in hand, which was, and there was a lot of routines to learn, a lot of songs to learn. And so we were just very focused on that as well.
Yeah. Wow. And ultimately it culminated in, please tell the audience your ultimate payoff.
Yeah. So I came third on the TV show, which, how rude. I can't believe, no. It was fine. It was fine. I actually remember thinking I kind of want to either come first or third, because the girl that came second sort of ended up covering the part of Dorothy in the West End. And I thought, I don't really want to do that. It'd be nice to either be the part or then be able to audition for another part, you know.
Yes.
So I was lucky enough to then be asked to audition for the role of Sandy in Grease. This was literally a week after the show finished. So I auditioned, got the part, and then I started rehearsals like a couple of weeks after that. So I went straight into a leading role in the West End, which was amazing. I was very lucky.
Must have been.
The freedom must have been staggering, actually, after 6 months in a closed environment like that.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I remember the relief as well when the whole show is over. Like, of course it was, and I don't regret doing it at all, but there is a huge relief when it's over that you go, oh, I can go back to more normality now, you know. Yes. And I still haven't watched the full show just because it was such, I feel like I've got PTSD in some way from it. Like it's a strange thing to watch. I still haven't watched it.
Right.
Interesting.
It's just, yeah, I mean, it's almost got to be sort of overwhelming, like the feeling people get when they get let out of prison. They've got to get back. I mean, I know you were only away 6 months, but when you're out of the swing of things, and you've all of a sudden got to go back to, well, where do I live and who's going to feed the cat and when do I pay my phone bill?
Yeah, exactly. And it was strange because I was sort of known as the hated Dorothy, which is weird to say, but it's because I was in the bottom two the most out of all the girls. So we'd have a bottom two that were voted for by the public, and the two that had the least votes each week would do a sing-off, and then Andrew would save the person he wanted to save. And I think Andrew saved me 3 or 4 times, so I was in the bottom two the most. So then I came out of the show having this almost like I wanted to prove to people that I was like nice. I was like, you know, like I don't want to be known as the hated Dorothy, or like, you know, you would see these comments on YouTube. Why does Andrew keep saving her? You know, can't they see that the public don't like her? And like, you really take it to heart, you know.
Yeah.
So then I spent so much time trying to convince people like, oh, I am nice. It was just a TV show, you know.
Wow.
Wow, that's got to be a rough one. So how long did Grease run for?
So I did Greece then for, I think it was just over 6 months. Yeah, it was only a 6-month contract, but with rehearsals, it probably was like 7 or 8 months. And then after that, I went into, I did a small production of The Last 5 Years. And then I went into We Will Rock You in the West End as well at the Dominion Theatre playing Scaramouche. Yeah, that was amazing as well. Getting to sing Queen songs every night, you know.
Yeah, we actually were invited to the Las Vegas premiere by Brian May, Dr. May, as I like to call him.
Yeah.
And I'd never met him. We'd just been friends on email because I helped them get back some domain names that squatters had been sitting on. And I was in touch with Jim Beach in Switzerland. And then somehow Brian got copied into the email chain. And he said, well, where are you? And I said, LA. He said, oh, one of my favorite vegetarian Indian restaurants is on Melrose and blah, blah, blah. We should meet. It just never happened. And then when they launched We Will Rock You in Vegas, he very kindly invited my husband and I to go. And we flew up to Vegas. And I'm texting him. It was just when text was starting, like on the flip phones, you know. Yeah. And we were trying to figure out how to text each other. And he's like, well, your tickets are at the box office, but just the after party's up on the 3rd floor at the pool at Paris, Las Vegas. Come and find me afterwards and introduce yourself, finally, you know. So I see Brian, because he's, as we know, very, very tall, from across the pool. And I go bounding across and I go, Brian, it's long lost cousin Ruth, you know. And he's like, oh, my God, thank you so much for all of the domain stuff you've done for us. You are the digital diva, blah, blah, blah. Meet my friend Bob. And there's this little guy in a sort of a houndstooth check jacket with a leather patch on the, you know, on the shoulder and the elbows, like a shooting jacket. And I thought it was probably going to be somebody British if he's in a, you know, houndstooth check shooting jacket. And he turns around and it's Robert De Niro.
Oh, no way.
He was an investor in the show.
Bob.
I'm just gobsmacked.
My friend
I'm
Bob.
standing there face to face with not only Brian May have I just met for the first time, but Robert De Niro.
Wow.
And he's like, meet my friend Bob. He's a huge Beatles fan. This is Ruth McCartney. She's Paul McCartney's stepsister. Bob just goes, nice. Right? And I went, and I punched, I don't know what I was thinking. I punched him in the shoulder and I said, you're good, you.
Oh.
And he looked at me and he went, never heard that one before.
I'm sure, but good for you.
Oh, it's like, you know, one of those moments when it's like brain to mouth filter gets broken and you can hear the words coming out of your gob and you just can't stop them.
No,
yeah.
All when people say, I'm your biggest fan. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Never heard that before.
Yeah, right. So,
oh my God, I'd have done the same. I would have probably just done something equally as embarrassing, like gone, you're Robert De Niro, you know.
Yeah. Right. Well, I'm sure that people like him and Brian, that they're so famous, they must know the effect they have on people when, you
Brian
know.
is the sweetest man, don't you?
Yeah.
Just the kindest, most sweetest man. I always remember, so obviously he was in the room for lots of my auditions. So I remember, I think I had in the West End, when you're auditioning for a lead role, you tend to have from sort of 5 to 9 rounds of auditions. You know, there's a lot of rounds of auditions that you go through. And I remember my final round had Brian May in it and Roger Taylor in it and Ben Alton, who, of course, wrote the script for it. So they were all in there. So I was very nervous anyway. And I sung Somebody to Love, which is one of Scaramouche's songs, and that went fine. You know, everyone was very nice. And then I had to sing Who Wants to Live Forever, which is another one of the songs. And the reason they make you sing it is because it's quite low for a female voice. Yeah. And I started singing it, and Brian put his hand up. I remember this so well in my audition. And he went, you're not singing it in the right key. And I went, I know. I knew I wasn't. I knew I'd started it too high. And he went, you're not singing in the right key. And I went, I know. I was too nervous to stop. I'm so sorry. And he sort of stood up, went over to the piano, sort of picked the note. And he was like, it's okay. And he was so sweet. He was like, do you want to start again?
Yeah.
I said, yes, please. That'd be really nice. You know, my heart was going like this. And anyway, I walked out of the audition, called my mom. I fluffed that. I made it. I messed it up. It was so bad. You know, I'm so embarrassed. Yada yada yada. And then, of course, I got the job. So
great.
That's great. Not this past Jubilee that Queen and Adam Lambert played, but the one before where he was strapped to the roof.
Yes.
You know, and he played, and I'd been emailing them about something, and I said, you know, good luck on Saturday night, whatever, at the Queen's Jubilee, and, you know, don't fall off the bloody roof, because nobody knew where he was going to be. A few of us did, because he'd been talking about how nervous he was of being, not of heights per se, but just being, you know, strapped to the roof of Buckingham Palace, right? And he's like, what if I break a string? all the way up there. Like, his guitar roadie's not going to shin up a ladder.
He's so genteel. We were lucky that him and Roger sometimes would play. Obviously, there was a band that were fixed by Queen, but sometimes when it was a big event, they would play with us. So Brian would take the solo in Bohemian Rhapsody, for example. And I always remember, I would always say to him, "Great show," you know, after he'd done it, and he'd be like, "Oh, do you think so? It was all right." You know, so humble. I'd be like, "You're Brian May. No one can play guitar better than you."
Well, I was to your point. Right after the performance on the roof of Buckingham Palace, what is it, 10, 15, 20 years ago now, probably. Right after the show, I think he must have been still on the roof. He texted me and said, "Was I all right?"
Was I all right?
I know, isn't he?
Was I any good? I'm like, yeah, you were a bit good.
And he still would go and watch the show as well. Bearing in mind, he knows what happens in Rock You. He's seen it 100 times, and you would still see him sat there like crying. He's just like the most beautiful man. And one of my favorite, I mean, one of my dreadful stories, but one that I remember so well, is we did so I was part of the 10th anniversary of the show as well, and we did an arena tour of it. Yeah. So we played arenas all over Europe. Actually, it was amazing. Wow. We went all over with it. But one of the shows was in Nottingham Arena, and Brian was going to be playing with us that night. So it was a big show, and it was a packed show, a packed arena. And right near the end of the show, there's a scene where Scaramouche has to go underground, and there's like a trap door that I lift up, and I jump into this trap door, and then I have a line and I shut it. And I had left my thumb on the outside of the door for some reason. This had never happened to me before. And it's like a steel, like metal door. And I slammed the door shut, tried to move, and went, "Oh my God, my thumb." And I had a panic because I thought, I've decapitated my thumb. I've lost my thumb. Like, I was so panicked about it. I hadn't. I just sort of like, you know, removed all the skin. It was bleeding loath. I'd got the rest of the show to do, including a part where I pretend to play a Brian May, like, solo with my thumb that was like covered in blood. I was having this panic attack. Oh. The company manager was like, "Do you want your cover to go on? You know, can you finish the show?" And I was like, "I will be damned if I let my cover go on." Nottingham Arena with Brian May playing. I was like, "Bandage me up. I'm getting on that stage."
The show must go on.
I know. I had to go to hospital after the show finished, but I was like, I'm finishing the show, you know.
God bless you. Well, that's the knocks of rock and roll, isn't it?
That is rock
and roll. When I was doing my pop star bit, I was performing in Armenia for the Earthquake Relief Fund after the terrible Leninikan Spitak earthquakes. And packed, sold out arena, 23,000 people. And they had put the stage together. They sort of put an apron on the stage of these, you know, bits and pieces of, I mean, they were plywood, but they were on metal frames, and they'd sort of put the stage together, but they hadn't bolted it together or taped it together. And I had 6-inch heels on, and I fell down, got a heel stuck down one of the holes in between the stage bits, fell flat on my ass and lost the shoe, kicked the other shoe off, rolled over backwards into the splits, and then graciously did a turn and got up again and carried on singing. And I've seen it on video, and it's like, bloody hell, I could have broken my back. Twisted my ankle.
You made it cool. That's all you needed to do, Ruth. You made it cool. You styled it out. You made it look like it was meant to happen. On with the show.
Yeah. Flip over something, just do a back roll, go into the splits, and then just get up from there.
Don't try this at home.
Oh my God.
There you go, folks. If you ever fall over, backwards roll, split, stand up, carry on.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I couldn't do it now. God, I'd split my kipper and I wouldn't be, I've fallen and I can't get up, you know.
Give it a go. Give it a go. Well, just as we've come off air, you can just give it a go in the living room.
Absolutely. So what about fast forwarding from all of your European stage adventures? Do tell us about this past weekend at the Brit Week Fairmont in Queen Elizabeth Jubilee.
Yeah, so it was officially my first gig here in LA, I suppose, because I was very kindly asked to sing at this Brit Week, BCBA, whatever it's called, event, which was absolutely amazing. It was like a British tea party at the Fairmont. You know, it was all British food, which was great because I miss British food so much. Fish and chips, scones. Ooh. They had these massive homemade like jammy Dodgers, which were delicious. Lots of alcohol. which is great. And what was brilliant about it is that I was opening the event. So I was able to enjoy the rest of the event, because the worst thing when you're a singer is being asked to close an event, but then having to attend the whole event prior.
You can't eat anything and you can't,
can't eat, can't drink, can't do anything. But yeah, it was a real honor and a privilege to be able to sing there. So I had to open with the national anthem, which initially scared the hell out of me because I thought, I only know the first verse. Please don't ask me to sing the rest. I was fine. It was just the one verse. Unaccompanied as well, which I hate doing. I hate singing unaccompanied. It's always the scariest thing. But then I was able to sing after that Never Enough from The Greatest Showman, which was nice,
lovely.
Sort of kick off the whole event. So yeah, it was really, really nice. And there was a Beatles tribute, ladies.
Yes, I know. Yes. We should have gone, but I'm still a bit leery with Ange being the delicate age that she is, of course. And having, you know, occasional asthma things throughout her life of COVID, because, you know, it's on the spread again, unfortunately. And I know it's outdoors, but at some point you've got to go in the hotel and
I know.
And they talk to your gob right up here, don't they?
I was amazed because my partner and I went to a barbecue the other week, and we got a round robin text from the host who was like cooking all the burgers that night. So sorry, I've actually tested positive for COVID. So we were like, oh my God, we're going to get COVID, but touch wood, we haven't. And I'm like, why have we not? But, you know.
Good. We're British. Maybe we do. It just gets in there and there's too much alcohol in.
I was just going to say that there's nothing is going to live in here after all of this.
I know. Is it like, what is it, 11:45 almost, and you're on the vodka? Is it Ange?
Yeah. Well,
actually, Tuesday's the only day of the week that I drink in the morning. I always do have a little tipple when we're doing TeaFlix.
You've got to, even though it's called TeaFlix, technically you should be having tea.
Well, no, she used to drink vodka out of a teacup, but then I just said, people know what you're up to, so just get it in a glass.
Cut to the chase, yeah.
Dear, oh dear. So,
very, very good.
I mean, I guess you got to mix and mingle with all the Brits in LA. Did you pick up any new guests for your podcast?
Well, I've actually already completed season 1 of the podcast now. So I've done 12 episodes, and I couldn't possibly reveal who the guests are after you two wonderful ladies tomorrow. But I have some amazing guests, and my final guest of the season is, I worked really hard to get him on the show, and I'm so pleased who it is. But then we're going to have a little break because I'm actually doing The Wizard of Oz here, funnily enough. It's crazy how things come full circle. I obviously started in the UK doing Over the Rainbow, and now my first show here is The Wizard of Oz, which is crazy.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned it yesterday. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so Chris Lithgow, who happened to be my first ever guest on A Brit in LA, the podcast, he's producing a production of The Wizard of Oz. And so he asked if I would come and audition for the role of Glinda, which I did, and then was offered the part, which is amazing. So I get to wear the big poofy Glinda gown and have the wand and the blonde wig, you know, which is very exciting. And we start rehearsals for that on Monday, and it's just doing, I think it's 5 or 6 performances in Pepper Tree Park, which I believe is in Irvine, but my LA knowledge is not very good yet. But yeah, Pepper Tree Park just for 5 performances.
Fontana, is it in the region of Fontana?
I mean, don't ask me. I don't know.
No. Okay.
Don't ask me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Our folks can look it up.
Yeah.
But
I feel like it's Irvine or somewhere around there. I know it's towards Newport Beach area, you know.
Beautiful part of the world.
Yeah.
The Bonnie Lithgow also, I think that's Chris's mum, right?
Yes.
It will be. That's right. Nigel's wife.
She was at my audition. Yeah. I met Bonnie. Lovely lady.
Yeah, she's great. And she has been totally dedicated to the art of pantomime and exporting it from the UK. She's done so much hard work. And, you know, I think I was telling you, Nigel Lithgow used to come and teach, step into my Northwest Stage School tap class that was run by a married couple then called Jeremy and Linda Robinson, who were part of the young generation, then the second generation. Then they had a band called Reflections, and they were all on TV. I think they were even at some point when Pan's People still had. And you can go on YouTube and type in Nigel Lithgow.
Oh yeah, he's got some fabulous
Top of the Pops
stuff
and Pan's People and stuff.
Oh,
He's got big poofy hair and like a purple velvet double-breasted jacket.
Oh, we love you for that.
We send him terrible clips all the time. Well, he used to pop in and do these sort of celebrity guest teaching things. So he actually taught me to the rudimentary parts of tap dancing when I was about 14, and because we're both from Merseyside. He's a posh Scouser though. He's
from Wallasey.
He's a Wirralite, not really a Scouser.
He was at the event on Sunday actually, and he was having a good old boogie to the Amy Winehouse tribute band. I noticed.
Yes.
Yeah, no, he's still got the moves, man. But I did years ago. We worked as part of Brit Week. We were involved in the advisory committees and the helping think tanks when that very first got set up. And we did some stuff for him on So You Think You Can Dance and American Idol. We did with our partners Matty Vision out of Greece. We did the world's first ever on Fox live 360-degree broadcast.
Oh,
and
wow.
it was Nigel who trusted me enough to have Fox hire us and do it. And he's like, I've known you 1,000 years. You're not going to mess this up. Just don't mess this up.
Yeah, no pressure then.
So we've sort of seen each other on and off for over the years, and Ange has a long-standing joke.
Well, as is my way, I don't do it lately, but when I used to see Nigel at functions, I'd always go up behind him and grab his bum, just pinch his bum, and without even looking over his shoulder, he'd say, "Oh, I guess Angie's here." So when we first heard about last week's event at the Fairmont, when I knew I couldn't go, I asked a lady friend of mine, Gillian Campbell, was she going? And she said yes. And I said, well, if you see Nigel, would you go up behind him?
It's the day after his birthday. So
pinch his bum and say, this is from Ange.
Belated birthday bum pinch.
So what I did eventually, I sent her a little voucher, which she took and gave to him. She said, I carried out your message. And he laughed and he laughed and he laughed.
Oh, man, you want to be careful. You'll get in trouble for that in this day and age.
Oh, I know. Well, that's it. When I sent him his birthday message. And I'm also writing another book at the moment called There Are Faces I Remember. And I've got a chapter about Nigel in it. And I said in there, I wrote to him and said, would you send me a few words to put in from you, from the horse's mouth? And I said, I promise not to mention bum grabbing. And he said, oh, I always enjoyed it. I said, okay, end of quote. But yeah, like you say, everybody's so politically correct now. You can't do anything riotous like that anymore.
So that's a beautiful name for your book. Beautiful title.
Thank you. I came up with that just
really
out of one of my. There's another venture that Angie's getting involved with, which is Mrs. McCartney's CBD. And the products are, shampoo and salve and roll-ons and for creaky joints and achy knees and things. And one of the things is beard oil, beard conditioning oil for men.
Men or women with beards.
Mrs. McCartney's beard oil for hairy bastards, So we're trying to come up with a name for it. I came up with one yesterday, Let It Beard.
Let It Beard.
So you heard it here.
Mic drop.
Exactly right. So good. So you're madly off into being Glinda.
Yes. Next week. So I start rehearsals for that next week. And I don't know whether this is an American thing, because I've obviously done a lot of shows in the UK, but the schedule is grueling. Like we are working every single day for the next 4 weeks, literally like 11 till 11. So I'm like, okay, here we go. So I need to get some of that CBD, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. CBDT. Something.
Do you drive, by the way?
I do. I didn't drive when I first arrived here because I was very nervous about it.
Oh, I know.
My husband took me out for a couple of lessons, and now it's fine. I feel like it's once you remember that you're in the middle of the road. You know what I mean? The driver is always in the middle of the road. Then you're fine. Yeah. I still come across a couple of junctions where I'm like, I don't really know what the etiquette is here, but it's fine. It's fine. Everyone drives.
Thank God they don't have that many roundabouts.
Oh God, no.
That was confusing when I first got here. There was a few roundabouts in Brentwood, in the Brentwood area, and I'm like, no, hang on.
Do I go this way or that way?
Is there, the middle? I'm like, oh, okay, you go that way.
I know. There are still some things freak me out a little bit, but I do in general think it's easier to drive here because the roads are so big.
Yeah,
in England, everything's so windy and little, and like people are trying to get around. But here, it's just like, there's like 9 lanes of traffic, so you're just like, oh,
yeah, I know.
Right. Well, and it's not like on the way back from the supermarket you're going to encounter a herd of cows and a woman in flat brown shoes with a stick, right?
Well, exactly. And if you can get through that, then you can certainly drive in.
Yeah. Oh, good for you.
Absolutely.
Well, you keep us posted, won't you, about your Glinda activities?
Yes, I will. Yeah. I will, and maybe you guys can come along and watch me give my
You never know.
Keep me posted.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Fine.
We'll have to
well,
get
thanks
that going.
awfully.
Thanks.
I know I haven't had much chance to talk to you today because I was a busy chops has been.
And me. Just get the 2 of us going, Ruth. We'll be like,
yeah.
Exactly.
A woman of a few thousand words. Anyway, it was lovely to have you.
Thanks so much for taking the time. We know how busy you are.
Yeah.
And we will share this to FizzBog and all of the other platforms, and then I will send you the link and the embed code.
Thank you. And look out for your episode of A Brit in LA, which airs tomorrow.
Oh, jolly good. I'll be listening.
We will indeed.
Okay. Thanks again,
everyone, for
God
tuning
bless.
in. Stay well.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.